Hi, today's story is I See a Kookaburra. It was written and illustrated by Steve Jenkins and Robin Page. It's about discovering animal habitats around the world. I see a kookaburra. Scorching deserts and steamy rainforests, muddy ponds and salty oceans. Animals are found almost every place on Earth. They thrive in all these habitats because over many generations, animals adapt. They change their size, shape, and habits to fit different conditions. Where there's not much water, they are able to use every drop. If there are fierce predators on the ground, many animals will live in the trees. All over the world, animals have developed different ways of surviving. 6 different parts of the world are shown in this book. Each habitat includes 8 of the animals that live there. Just like real animals, they may be difficult to spot at first. See if you can find them all. Then turn the page. You will learn more about these animals at the back of the book. In the desert, I see. Now, this is a desert in the American Southwest. What animals do you see in the desert? Can you spot any? A sharp-eyed kit fox leaving its burrow. A long-nosed bat sipping nectar from a flower. A trapdoor spider waiting patiently in its tunnel. An angry diamondback rattlesnake buzzing a warning. A tiny elf owl making its nest in a giant cactus. A kangaroo rat bounding over the sand. A javelina sniffing out tender roots, and a poisonous Gila monster creeping slowly over the rocks. In a tide pool, I see. This is a tide pool in the southern coast of England. We have tide pools near us as well. Do you see the creatures? A natterjack toad looking like a wet, bumpy rock. A sea star holding tight with all 5 arms. A stinging anemone hitching a ride. A peacock worm spreading its feathery tentacles. A hermit crab looking for a new home. A hungry oyster catcher searching for a juicy shellfish. A sea urchin, colorful pincushion. A poisonous weaverfish waiting for its next meal. In the jungle, I see. This is a jungle or rainforest in the Amazon River basin of South America. Can you see the creatures hiding in there? A toucan in its large, colorful beak. A young emerald tree boa born red will turn a brilliant green when it grows up. A jaguar with a spotted coat that helps it hide in the forest dappled light. A red-eyed tree frog, startling an attacker with its big bright eyes. A harpy eagle, the most powerful bird of prey in the world. A spider monkey escaping danger by swinging from branch to branch. A rhinoceros beetle, the world's strongest insect. The fierce-looking but timid green iguana. On the savanna, I see. This savanna is a grassland in Central Africa. What creatures do you see? You see them hiding in the tall grass? A serval hunting in the tall grass. A busy elephant shrew scurrying through the brush. A dung beetle rolling animal droppings into a ball. A giraffe antelope stretching to reach the tender leaves of a thorn tree. A nearsighted rhinoceros who is able to charge at 30 miles per hour. A naked mole rat, nearly blind and almost hairless. A secretary bird who kills snakes by stomping them with its feet. A termite guarding its nest, a mound 30 feet tall. In the forest, I see. This is a forest in eastern Australia. See if you recognize any of these creatures. A noisy kookaburra with a call that sounds like crazy laughter, a frilled-necked lizard startling an attacker, a cicada, a bug that spends its first 7 years living underground, a dingo, a fierce wild dog on the hunt, a walking stick insect hiding in plain sight, echidna, a prickly egg-laying mammal, a furry koala fast asleep, and a cassowary, a huge flightless bird with a helmet on its head. Do you recognize these animals from our study of Australia? In a pond I see. This is a pond in the American Midwest. You see some creatures there? A northern pike lying in wait for its next victim. A kingfisher splashing into the water to catch a fish. A red-spotted newt warning predators to stay away with its bright orange skin. A water spider with a bubble of air trapped in its web. A dragonfly hovering lightly above the water. A great blue heron standing very still as it waits to spear a fish. An alligator snapping turtle buried in the mud. And a sleek muskrat going for a swim. We're going to learn just a little bit more about those animals that would be found in an Australian rainforest or forest. Much of Australia is covered by a hot sandy desert. Other parts of the continent are lush tropical rainforest. This Australian forest is another kind of environment. There are trees and shrubs and moderate rainfall, and it's not too hot or cold. It's a lot like forests in many other parts of the world, except that many of the plants and animals here are found nowhere else. Australia has been an island for millions of years, and many living things have developed in unique ways. So we're going to talk about the kookaburra. As the sun comes up, the kookaburra greets the new day with a call that sounds like loud, crazy laughter. The kookaburra is a large bird, almost 18 inches long. It eats snakes, lizards, and other birds, and practices an unusual hunting technique. After catching a snake, it flies up into the air and it kills its prey by dropping it from a great height. The next creature is a cicada. The cicada spends most of its life underground as a nymph, an immature insect. It feeds on sap and tree roots and slowly grows until, after 7 years, it emerges as an adult with millions of other cicadas. This part of the cicada's life is short, only a few weeks. When above ground, cicadas live in trees and are known for the loud chirping calls they use to attract their mates. The dingo. About 3,500 years ago, people brought the first dogs to Australia, probably from India. When they reached Australia, many of these dogs ran away and became wild and soon spread across the continent. Known as dingoes, some of these wild dogs were tamed by the Aborigines, the original native people of Australia, but many others have remained wild. The dingo is a medium-sized dog, averaging about 30 pounds. It is a fierce predator who hunts in packs and has greatly reduced or wiped out many of the native birds and marsupial mammals. The dingo growls, whines, and howls, but cannot bark. The frilled neck lizard. The frilled lizard is about 8 inches long. It spends most of its time in the trees, where it eats insects and small lizards. When frightened, this reptile can startle an attacker by opening a large frill of skin around its neck that is more than 12 inches across. If this tactic fails, the frilled lizard can stand up and run away on its back legs. It's nicknamed the bicycle lizard. Koala. Koalas are not bears. They are marsupials, animals that raise their young in a pouch and are related to kangaroos. Koalas eat the leaves of just one kind of tree, the eucalyptus tree. They get most of their water they need from these leaves, and they rarely drink. Eucalyptus leaves are not very nutritious, so koalas save energy by sleeping 20 hours a day. A full-grown koala weighs 15 to 20 pounds. The cassowary. The cassowary is the second largest bird in the world, smaller only than the ostrich. It stands 6.5 feet tall and weighs as much as 180 pounds. The hard crest on the bird's head protects it as it pushes through the thick undergrowth of the forest. The cassowary is a gentle creature that eats seeds and fruits, but if attacked, it can defend itself with long, sharp claws and fierce kicks. A cassowary can kill a grown man with its feet. The male cassowary has the job of sitting on the eggs and raising the young birds when they hatch. There are only about 1,500 cassowaries left in the world, making this one of the world's most endangered animals. The walking stick. The walking stick insects are found in many parts of the world, and some of the largest live in Australia. The Titan walking stick insect is up to 10 inches long. It eats the leaves of trees and shrubs and is rarely seen because of its excellent camouflage. When disturbed, the walking stick insect grows rigid, sways back and forth in the breeze, making itself look even more like a stick or twig. The echidna. The echidna, one of the few egg-laying mammals, also known as a monitoring, is also called a spiny anteater. It is a member of a very ancient group of mammals. Echidnas, or animals a lot like them, have probably been around for 100 million years. The echidna is about the size of a house cat. It eats termites and ants, tearing open their nests with its sharp claws and slurping up the insects with a long, sticky tongue. An echidna has the unusual ability to detect very faint electrical fields with its nose. Since all living things produce a small electric current, the echidna can use its nose to locate insects moving underground. I hope you enjoyed learning a little more about the Australian insects in our story, I See a Kookaburra.